Okay, I'm using touch on here, and I could be using a pen at the same time, and I could go a rectangle. Here's some interesting things you can do with the 500 Pro board. This is just a box. Place it on the surface, and I can actually use my pen around this. I want to explore the net of this box. This is quite interesting because the way the technology works, it's not dependent on point of view of cameras in the corners and things like that. I can just trace around it. The touch isn't actually causing a problem for me here. No, this is a good problem. You're going to think the kids are actually watching. No, you need to turn it that way. So I can roll this around the surface, and I can create a net. And of course, the students could say, where could I go next? And they could predict and finish that off. In fact, I'm going to do that one there. So that's just an interesting fact about the technology. Because it's sensing out the surface with this combination of interactive pen with the grid there and the projected capacitance of touch, it is able to separate them. We can do some quite interesting things. We were talking about a bones lesson, so I'll go to a new slide. So if I was just to use the pen now, I've seen teachers do this in class, just an interesting activity, we just trace around. This you can do on a 300 Pro board today. Of course, the next thing you do is pick a nice colour and start filling it in with the bones. Kind of create an instant anatomy lesson. But you've still got the ability to use touch now. We can just pick it up and drag it around if we want. It's quite an interesting combination of features available through the technology. Perhaps not available in any other type of technology, because cameras or other types of resistive sensing generally malfunction if they're disrupted with touch or pen at the same time. So that was a case of really the pen taking over the touch, but obviously we can use combinations of touch.
And of course, Mark, you could also trace. If you had an object on a poster which you just put
yes,
on a glue tack, you could trace.
Yes, that's regularly done. Yeah, you can trace. If you wanted outlines of a map, you've got a poster and you just wanted to capture it. So tracing through something, just a piece of cardboard here, in fact, you can just trace through it, but that could have been traced around a picture or a poster. So it's interesting technology is the sensing. Actually, we're also exploiting this kind of ability to see through and hover, because the sensing is proximity based. There's many applications that use that as a fundamental part of their operation. I think particularly CAD programs and dynamic maths and things like that.